What is up, everybody? Welcome into this week's episode of It's Called Football on Vendetta Sports Media. I'm Jerry Walker. Alongside me, as always, is Jackson Fyda. And Jackson, before we talk about what's happened this past week, because it was an international break, we have some exciting Premier League stuff coming up, some interesting news. How are you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, I'm good. Little Easter weekend trip to Florida for me, so I'm doing good.
Where in Florida are you heading?
It's near Miami. It's Miami, basically. It's a little like island off Miami called Key Biscayne.
Nice little South Beach action for you. So
Sir.
that'll be a good time. But yeah, outside of the footballing world, we got MLB opening day today.
Oh, you're one of those.
I like baseball. Baseball's fun.
I can't.
Also, March Madness, Sweet 16.
There we go.
It's a good time for sports. And Duke surprisingly still in it, I guess.
So. Dude, big game tomorrow.
Who are they playing?
Houston.
Right.
I
have Duke winning that one, I think.
I don't. We did the bracket picks again this week. No one picked Duke, not even me. So that lets you know Vendetta's not on Duke's side. I'm not even on Duke's side. Because of that, Duke should win. That's the thinking.
Yeah, that's how it usually works out. I know for the UFC previews and predictions, whenever we all pick someone by unanimously, ends up losing one way or another.
No, you need Bagdonas to pick against that team. What he did in Nevada was friggin' – are you in the college basketball chat?
I'm not.
Yeah, he came in and was like, I'm liking Nevada a lot right now. They're looking really good when they're up 17. Just like that loss. That kid, every time he says anything, opposite happens.
He's cursed. But back to the reason we are here to talk about some football. And last week, as I said, international break, and we had the Euro qualifying playoffs for the upcoming 2024 European Championship in Germany this summer. And we now know the final three teams. Poland beating out Wales on penalties to get through, Georgia beating Greece on penalties, and then Ukraine taking care of business against Iceland. Do any of those surprise you?
Georgia a little bit, just because they've never been. And Keva had to go out of the game as well. So they had to finish it off without their star player. So that was pretty cool. It was in Georgia, though. They did have the luck of the draw where it was being held there. So they had the fans behind them. I think anywhere else, Greece probably would have won that game,
100%.
To be completely honest. So that was a little surprising. Ukraine didn't really surprise me. I was surprised they were down. It was a great goal by Gudmundsson. Great goal. But then, they came back. Mudryk gets the winner. Cool to see them win. And then Poland-Wales. I actually thought Wales was going to win. I'm not going to lie. With it being in Wales. And Poland didn't even have a shot on target.
Yeah.
Not a single one. But they still won, so.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. Wales going down to 10 men. I guess that was at the very end of it.
That was at the end. That didn't even
play too much. But this is where having kind of some experience in doing penalty shootouts and stuff.
Chesney's a very good keeper when it comes to penalty kicks. He showed it in the World Cup. And he showed it here. I mean, it took him till the fifth one, but he still made the save. He still made the play when he needed to. He's good.
Missed it. Leeds United's own Dan James. Love to see it.
I knew he was going to miss it.
He did not look confident at all walking up for that penalty.
Why was he taking the fifth one?
I don't know.
Well, why Dan James? He's walking up. Literally everyone who was watching with me was like, we all knew he was going to miss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I still think the scene of the weekend in terms of that was the Georgia fans after they won on penalties storming the field. And that was cool to see because, like you said, it was the first major tournament they've made ever.
Yeah, think about that. Their fans were going nuts. It was kind of cool because they got to host a game where they went through. So they had all the fans there. No, it was sick.
Yeah. I still think the biggest surprise of that whole qualifying playoff thing that just happened was how convincingly Iceland beat Israel. I thought Israel was going to give them a little more of a fight, but Gudmundsson comes out and bangs himself a hat trick. Sure, two of them were after the guy on Israel was sent off, but I thought there was going to be a little more fight there. Finland, I thought, would have a little more fight. There were just some very lopsided games in the semifinals.
No, it really was 4-1 Iceland and then 4-1 Wales over Finland.
Yeah.
Teams that we thought would at least have a shot, to maybe at least look competitive didn't even show up. I was shocked Iceland looked as good as they did.
Yeah.
I think their golden generation's over. So to see them get here is I feel like pretty promising for the nation because you're out of your golden generation. But hey, the Georgian golden generation came through.
Yeah, really did. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with those 3 teams come the Euros, because I think we went over the groups last episode, and it's interesting stuff. There's a chance for 1 or 2 of them to get out, but still, you're in the qualifying playoffs for a reason. You're going to be the underdogs, and maybe that's where Georgia thrives. They are that underdog mentality and might be able to get a win or something at the Euros in Germany.
Maybe Poland is
Poland could be dangerous.
That group is tough. Like there's
because that's the one with France and the Netherlands,
Austria,
and Austria. Yeah,
that's a tough group. So I don't know how Poland will do in that. I mean, if they realistically want a shot, they're going to have to beat Austria because they're not going to beat France.
I think Ukraine is the best chance of getting out of the group, personally.
With the draw that they got.
They're with Romania, Slovakia, and Belgium.
Yeah. See, that right there is realistic. That's a really good draw to have. Poland, that is about as tough as a draw as you could get.
Group of death, 100%. The only other one that maybe could be, but even then, some of these teams are getting old, would be Spain, Croatia, Italy, and Albania.
Yeah, I was looking at that. And again, another year, that would be the group of death. Exactly. But because Spain is pretty inexperienced, they're still finding that new identity with this new generation. They're not as dangerous. Croatia has aged exponentially. Now, they are still reaching finals and Nations Leagues, and they're still reaching the semis of the World Cup. So shame on us for always underestimating them. They find a way to get it done, but they don't feel as dangerous as they have. And Italy can't even qualify for a World Cup. So, like, on paper, yes, but based on recent results, when you look at the teams that are actually going to be going, it doesn't really have the same bite, I feel like, as the Netherlands, who are hot as hell. Mm-hmm. Like, that team is good. France, which is the best team in the world. And Austria, which is a pretty good team.
They have a sneaky good team.
Right? They really are. They've got some good players. They've got, Conrad Leimer. They've got, Sabitzer. They've got really good players. Yeah. So if throw that and Lewandowski in the same group, and you've got yourself some absolutely beautiful things to watch on TV. Some great games come this summer.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. I still have David Alaba as the captain of that side. So, I'm looking at it. Arnautovic, I know he's getting older, but he still bangs them in. It's going to be fun. Then just quickly touch on the Georgia group. Turkey, Georgia, Portugal, Czech Republic. I see a world where Georgia might be able to sneak through. Well, realistically, I don't see it happening. They could be as a third-place team.
Yeah, they could. And again, the thing with the Euros is you see stuff like that happen. Yeah. Was it Georgia's with Turkey, Portugal, and Czech Republic? Yeah. I
don't see them getting it done.
Maybe could sneak by the Czech Republic. Maybe Turkey is a possibility, but I don't know. Kevo's going to have himself a game, I think, for them to get through.
100% agreed. But any other thoughts on the Euros coming up before we move over to across the pond, cover some Nations League action?
No, I think we're ready to go over there. I'm always ready to talk U.S. Nations League domination, so let's get over there.
That's what we'll go with, but it didn't look that way. We had the 2 semifinals last Thursday, the final on Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday.
And the U.S. was looking a little iffy against Jamaica, to say the least.
Yeah.
You called that one right away.
Yep. Now, it was tough. It was a tough game. Jamaica got the goal within 30 seconds. Fell asleep at the back post. Now, I know people were trying to blame Joe Scally for that. I don't think that was Scally's fault. That wasn't his guy. A midfielder ran in, wasn't tracked at all, and just headed in. And what was it? His name was
Greg Leah.
Greg Leah, yeah. Yeah, that's who it was. He ran in and just scored a header past Matt Turner. That set the U.S. back. I know. And look, people want to criticize Greg Berhalter all they want, but the reality is when crap hits the fan like that 30 seconds in and you're chasing the game and this team can just park the bus like they did, it is hard. And it didn't look like the U.S. was going to win. It didn't look like we deserved it. I'm not going to lie.
Especially Jamaica, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were playing 5 in the back.
Yeah.
They were already about getting a quick goal and then just sitting back.
Well, they were all about defense. If they get a chance on a set piece, take it, and they did. And they were playing well. It's important to remember this Jamaica team was missing their best players.
Yep.
They were missing Mikhail Antonio, who pulled out due to some kind of small minor injury, I think. And then they were missing their best player, Leon Bailey, because he was suspended from last camp due to breaking team rules. So he was suspended for this game, for this selection. So they were missing and I'm pretty sure they were missing Damari Gray as well. Like, they were missing legit players.
I think they were missing Damari Gray as well.
Yeah, they were missing legit players, and they still should have beat the U.S. realistically. Now, the U.S. had more possession.
I mean, yeah, 75% to 25%. Yeah. But
that's
like what you're saying. They were just sitting back. They weren't trying.
They were okay with it. That was the game plan, and they were executing it perfectly. They were frustrating the U.S. It didn't look like anything was going to happen until the 96th minute. 96. Friggin' corner comes in. Miles Robinson flicks it off of a poor Jamaican defender's face. I forget what his name is off the top of my head.
Cody Burke was the one who was credited with
Cody Burke. Yeah. Hits him in the face and goes in. Craziest scenes.
Yeah.
U.S. equalize it in the most improbable fashion. And once it happened, you knew that the U.S. was going to win.
Yeah.
The floodgates open. Haji Wright, credit to him because he wasn't even on the initial roster. He came in as an injury replacement to Josh Sargent. He's been banging in goals for Coventry City, but wasn't even supposed to be part of this team. He scored 2 goals off the bench. Pretty impressive stuff. U.S. wins 3-1. The other semifinal, Mexico took care of business. Didn't really matter. But the U.S. game was –
I thought Panama was going to put up more of a fight.
Oh, then 3-0? Yeah, 100%.
And it wasn't even close on stats either. I mean, I guess they took a lot of shots, but it wasn't even on target. So.
No, they got just played off the field. Mexico looks so good, and that's why going into the Nations League final, I'm like, all right, this looks like Mexico's to win because the U.S. looked shaky against Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if Greg Berhalter's seat was going to get a little bit hot if that own goal didn't go in. I really do. Now, I don't
think it would have been a shock.
Yeah, because you expect to make the final. You used to Mexico in the finals, whatever. We've beaten them so many times. They're due a win. That's what I thought was going to happen. Tyler Adams, man. Holy crap.
What a shot that was.
I didn't know he had that in his bag.
Oh, as I was talking to someone the other day, first of all, former Leeds player, and it's good to see him back playing as well.
Yeah, it is.
He barely played it all this season for Bournemouth. But it was like someone was like, yeah, people kind of forgot about him. He just appeared. It was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to take a rip and see what happens. Top bins, nothing Ochoa could do about it.
Banger. I didn't know he had that in his bag. I really didn't know Tyler Adams could do that.
He was that guy.
He was that guy. 1-0 on the brink of halftime. Friggin', that changed everything, made things more comfortable.
Yeah.
Then you saw the second goal, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know how Pulisic did that. I'm still trying to figure that out. To do that live with a defender trying to tackle you, to do what he did, I don't know. But the little chip over the Mexican defender, plays it in. Not the greatest cross, whatever, but it found its way eventually after a few deflections to Gio Reyna with a brilliant finish. Now, Gio Reyna, he can't get a friggin' glimmer of playing time for Nottingham Forest right now on loan. He's become practically invisible. But when it comes time to play for the U.S., he's shown out. So,
I mean, 2 assists against Jamaica, Mexico. Meanwhile, hasn't even played for months, it seems, for Forest.
Yeah, can't touch the field, but playing well for the U.S. So I know some people were questioning why he was included, like Jesse Marsh. That's why he's included.
Anything Jesse Marsh says is just irrelevant.
I do love him. I want to root for him, but that was such a bad take.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Gio Reyna is one of our most talented players. He's in a rough bit of form with club. He got some bad agent advice, I think, to go to Nottingham Forest. I think that was – luckily it's on loan. He can go back to Dortmund and figure his crap out. He can pull a little McKennie if he wants, but he shows up for the U.S. He's one of our most talented players, and he should always be involved. Even if he's not playing for his club team, he should be involved. Great goal, 2-0. Back to back to back. I'm loving life right now, man.
Oh, I bet. It's a great time to be a U.S. soccer fan. Terrible time to be a Mexican fan. So
I don't know what to do.
No. And they're in the mud, as you saw in the Slack chat. It's just
Jason.
Yeah, he was not happy about it, and just doesn't seem like Mexico has any solution.
No, I think it stemmed like he made some good points. Like it stems from the federation. That is ultimately what it comes down to.
It's so political.
Greediness, the corruption. You get rid of Pro Rel in the Liga MX right there. You kind of could tell. I felt like most people could tell, like, ooh, that could have bad effects. But it was already happening before that.
Yeah.
Realistically, it was already happening before that. They got comfortable with where they were because they thought they were the kings of CONCACAF, thought they were too good for CONCACAF. Now they're behind other teams besides the U.S., realistically. I mean, Canada is kind of in shambles right now because of their own federation, but when they're on, they're beating Mexico.
Yep.
Now, this Jamaica team, I think, with their star players, would beat Mexico.
Oh, I do too.
Place but Mexico.
Fully healthy Jamaican side would. I think a fully healthy Jamaican side on that given day would have beat the U.S.
Oh, they would have 100%. And any day they could beat the U.S.
Yeah.
With the attack that they have, 100%. They 100% could beat the U.S. And I think they would beat Mexico every place except for the Azteca.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, sure we could get a lot of hate for making that comment, but when you look at the shift where you see Jamaica going out and getting these players, Mexico, like, they don't have all their players that were supposed to pan out haven't panned out to the same degree. Now, Chucky Lozano is still a very good player. He was good at Napoli. He's still good for PSV, but he didn't pan out quite the way that fans thought he would.
I thought he'd be the Chicharito replacement.
Yeah. They thought he would be the next guy. They thought he'd be the face of the national team. And if that is the face of the national team, that's not where Mexico should be at. Mexico should be at a much higher level. They've had higher level players in the past. Someone like Diego Lainez, completely fallen off the face of the earth. Like, he has not amounted to anything. When you look at, in terms of the potential he has, he's still playing pro. Like, he has amounted to something. Let's not get it twisted. He's still a very good player, but he hasn't reached the level that Mexican fans and many other fans, including myself, thought he would reach. So they're just having a kind of bad little generation that isn't working out quite the way they thought. Plus the corruption. Jason highlighted in our group chat. I think he did a good job of ranting about it. I still think he should have done a post about it. I thought that was perfect for it.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, Mexico, they need to start changing things, and it's got to come at the federation level. You got to start getting more players over to Europe. They hate doing that. They want to keep them all in-house. You got to get them over to Europe. The reality is there are better coaches, better competition.
I mean, just look at – I'm going from the U.S. standpoint. The U.S. had majority of players for a long time just playing in the U.S. with a couple outliers. Mm-hmm. Never really did much, I wouldn't say.
No.
Now look at it. You look at the U.S. national team. It's guys playing in the Bundesliga, La Liga, Premier League, Serie A, all balling out there. And the national team benefits as well from it.
Yeah. You have some MLS defenders, but you don't have your Sebastian Leggets. Yeah, you don't have your Christian Roldans anymore. No, now your backup options are Brendan Aronson, which is a huge
He's hopeless this year. He's useless this year, it seems.
He's actually in pretty good form. Like he's found his club form. We'll see if it continues. Like he started scoring.
Because I knew he was struggling big time.
Oh, he was bad up until a few weeks ago, but he has kind of found a little resurgence. Ever since January, he's actually been playing all right, and he's finally started to get on the goals.
Since it was time to fight back for a spot on the U.S. national team.
Well, yeah, once he realized he was not going to get called up. He only got called up for this camp because De La Torre was injured.
Exactly.
But yeah, when you look at the U.S. now, the depth you've got in the midfield, you used to have like Leggets, the Roldans, even your Kellen Acosta, which he did train with the team, but he's a backup. He's not going to get called up. But now you've got your Tillmans, you've got your Musas, you've got your McKennies, you've got all these other guys. You have De La Torre and Brendan Aronson as your backups, and De La Torre is a starter on a La Liga team. Aronson is finally starting to start again for Union Berlin. Mm-hmm. Those are your backups. Mexico right now, they don't have that same level that they used to with the players. They don't have their guys playing for Barcelona. They don't have them playing for these top level teams anymore. Like it's just kind of a combination of talent not working out the way it was supposed to with like say Diego Lainez, and then like Jason again highlighted the corruption that they have. Because when you look at their team now, sure, Santi Jimenez, I think he's actually pretty good. He's playing for Feyenoord. Sure, he'll end up somewhere good. But apart from that, yeah, you have like Chucky Lozano, you have Luis Chavez playing in Russia, Orbelin Pineda playing in Greece. You do have Edson Alvarez playing at West Ham, and Edson Alvarez is a very legit midfielder. Like he's actually legit. A couple guys at Porto and a couple guys in the Liga. That's basically it. Like they don't have the same players they used to. That generation with Chicharito and oh my God, what's his name? The center back. How am I spacing on this? Played for Barca. Holy crap. Well, anyway, they had these players playing for Manchester United, for Barcelona, for all these teams. And now the talent level is just falling off. And it kind of like, it's great to see because U.S. was just absolutely dominated by Mexico. Realistically, like, we get a few wins here and there, but they were the better team. The tides have just shifted completely ever since that first Nations League matchup.
Yeah, and this is the last thing I want to say on it, and it might be a bold prediction, but Mexico and Jamaica are in the same group in the Copa Americas this upcoming summer.
Yeah.
I think Jamaica wins that group.
Yeah, they realistically could.
I think Mexico will still get out because I think they're better than both Ecuador and Venezuela.
Yeah.
But that means they would have to play most likely Argentina in the next round. And we know how that's going to go.
Yeah.
Do want to touch on a few other quick little international stuff to talk to U.S. I want to talk, as this is a Premier League-based show, talk on England and their very, very subpar, if not disappointing, international break. Started out game against Brazil at Wembley. This is one that I was curious to see how it goes. England has so many injuries at the moment that I'm curious to see what the team will look like come Euro time, because Harry Kane was out. Whole load of other defenders have been out. Harry Maguire got hurt. Kyle Walker got hurt. John Stones got hurt, which we'll touch on those couple injuries a little bit later. But England lose to Brazil 1-0. Endrick, the 17-year-old, gets the winner in the 80th minute against England. Then few days later, he gets an equalizer at the Bernabeu, where he's going to play his club football starting next season for Real Madrid. This kid's legit.
Yeah. No, he is. I'm hoping he pans out, man, because if he reaches just a shred of the potential that he has, we're in for a treat. And Brazil is getting that 2002 level team back together. With Vinny, with Rodrigo, you get Endrick coming back. Come a few years down the line. It's not going to happen this World Cup. Maybe not even the World Cup after that, but it will happen where they're just going to be so stacked. Yeah. It's coming.
Oh, I could see them winning the Copas this summer.
Yeah. No, their team right now is actually insane.
Yeah. My issue with them is defensively, it just doesn't seem.
That's the problem. They need that.
So, I mean, all the players I do know on the defensive end are all older guys who are probably not going to be around much longer for the national team.
Yeah.
Whereas attacking wise, and it's been this way for a while, they bring in much better attackers at a younger age than they do defenders and midfielders. So something to watch out for. England's other international match was against Belgium. And Ivan Toney, I'm hyped for him. He got his first goal as an England international, was a penalty, made the match 1-1. But good for him to get that, especially after everything that he's been through in the last year. Maybe he can give some advice to Tonali about all that stuff on the betting side. But and Jude Bellingham saves the day for England to at least get the draw. It's a friendly. You can only look into this stuff so much, but
it's a friendly.
Yeah,
that's how you gotta look. It's a friendly. Everything's gonna be okay. You're trying out different stuff. People are getting hurt. You don't have your star player in. It's gonna be okay.
Left. Kane's out. It's an interesting time there.
Yeah, no, everything's going to be okay. Ivan Toney, though, it's sick seeing him with the national team again.
It really was.
That dude's freaking such a baller.
I mean, Jared Bowen as well, one that we've been advocating for the England national team.
Oh, he's so good.
He scored a goal, but VAR ruled it out. So, but
I'm
he's
not-
finding opportunities. So
People are complaining that Jared Bowen got called up. I'm like, dude's a friggin' baller. Like,
if he might not have been forever, but this year there's not many English players better than him.
no, not in that position.
Yeah.
I know people are like, how is Harvey Elliott not getting called up over this guy? I'm like, then a dude who's putting out better stats, more goals, more assists, contributing more for his team. Get out of here.
Harvey Elliott might be part of the future generation. He's not part of the current.
No, he's not going to the Euros.
No.
Leave that for Jared Bowen.
Yeah.
And Jack Grealish is the only one who could have a say in keeping him off of it.
The other one I think that could be dangerous come Euro time is Ollie Watkins. I like him a lot. I think he's good. I think he's a baller. So it's gonna be a fun Euros to watch from an England point of view.
No, they'll be good. It could be the year you guys finally win something.
That'd be sweet in Germany as well. But
yeah, it feels like everything's starting to slowly come together, but I feel like you guys will just find a way to bottle it.
Yep. We'll go into penalties with somebody, or like Euro 2016, play a team like Iceland and tragedy will strike.
Yeah, or we'll have you get all the way to the finals and then same thing again.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see what happens come June time. So that's it, unless there's any other international stuff you want to quickly touch on. But
Nope.
I think generally we covered the important stuff for us. So moving on to the Premier League, and I mentioned a couple guys getting hurt. Tough time for them to get hurt because arguably the biggest match of the season is upcoming this weekend on Sunday. Man City hosting your Arsenal's team. Man City are in trouble. If John Stones and Kyle Walker aren't able to play, that is a massive, massive loss.
It is, but they have players who could come in and fill that gap. That's why they're not the players that I feel like you take them out and it's going to impact them to a hugely serious way. You can play without Stones. You can play without Walker. I feel like there's only like 3 players on City, maybe 4, where you can make that argument. That's Rodri, De Bruyne, Haaland, and possibly Ederson. I do think Ortega's a good backup, but I feel like that's still the same thing. I feel like other than that, you can kind of just move people in and out. Yeah. Realistically, they have that depth.
Because, I mean, looking at the rest of their defensive options, Rico Lewis, Akanji, Gvardiol, Ake, Ruben Diaz, so they do have depth back there.
Exactly.
I just feel like those two have been the center points of the Man City defense for the last few years.
And you're going to want them too, not only just because they've been playing like this, but they have intimate knowledge of some of Arsenal's best players from national team experience and just general Premier League experience. Because think about Kyle Walker, how long he's been in the league. He's seen it all.
I'm amazed he's still as quick and as good as he is.
Right? He's still playing so well. And he's got that leadership quality as well back there. But, yeah, even without them, I think they'll be fine. Realistically, you just take one superstar out and move another in. I don't think it's a huge problem. Again, there's a few players, like when they're without Rodri, it has been shown that it clearly like impacts them to a hugely detrimental level.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it'll be the same thing with them out.
So does that mean you think Man City gets it done in this match?
Yeah. I do. I really do. I think Pep's going to have them ready to go.
I agree.
They've been in this situation before where someone's challenging them for the title, whether it is Liverpool or Arsenal. It is both this year, so that's kind of interesting. But I don't think this is going to be the game that slows them up. I think they will win this game. I think they will look good doing it. I think they'll win by a couple of goals, hop over Arsenal back into first place. Now, this won't win them the league. There's some people saying that the league could be decided for Arsenal today. If they lose, they're 2 points back. It's not the end of the world. There are still plenty of games to be played, but I do think City's going to win this game.
And I do see the point of if Arsenal was to win this could be them winning the league, because that's the biggest bump you have to get over. Is City. And that motivational, and I guess from a mental standpoint, sure, you did beat them or at some point this season, earlier in the season, but if you can go to the Etihad and beat them, that's how you know you're like, okay, we're legit this year. This is our time to shine, because last season they were fighting with them, and it got to late April, and then Man City goes and wins 4-1, and that was pretty much like, yep, we're done for. So
it is. I didn't even think about Arsenal winning, to be honest, as a possibility.
yeah.
In my mind, I'm still just thinking City, 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 and will be greatly, greatly surprised if Arsenal wins in a positive way. So I could just be playing mind games with myself. But yeah, I mean, if they win, they've got a shot, but still got a little bit of work to do. But if they do win this game, it will look like, all right, this Arsenal team can actually win the league. I still don't think people believe it. I don't believe it. If they win this game, Arsenal can win the league for sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm curious to see if Bukayo Saka's healthy, Martinelli's healthy for Arsenal, solely because I don't know how serious his injury was that took him out of the England camp, or if this was more personally, I think it was, we have Man City coming up. Let me just go back and not get myself hurt, whereas see what happened to Stones and Walker. But
it is interesting. Did you hear
because the same with Martinelli.
Yeah, it is. But you hear the Declan Rice story when he was talking about talking to Stones, and he's like, big match coming up at the weekend, eh?
I was like, who do we play?
Who we playing? And he's like, freaking us. City have been there.
That's the mentality. They don't care who they're playing until they're on the pitch. They just prepare the same way, and that's why they've been so good.
Yeah, and that's why they're terrifying. And some people are like, oh, look at this. Arsenal's more locked in. Like, no, they're not. No, they're not. City's just been there. They've done that. They don't care who it is. They know they're better than you.
It's just another game for City.
Just another game.
It's, we're playing Man City. We need to be up for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about that aspect of it. But who knows? That's the match of the week by far. We do have some midweek stuff, but that if you're gonna watch one match, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, Sunday morning, get up, watch that. It's gonna be a hell of a match. The other one from the weekend slate of games, because it's some decent matches, but nothing really worth jumping into extreme depth about. Liverpool Brighton, though, that's an interesting one solely because of, say there's a draw in Arsenal Man City and Liverpool win, suddenly they're top of the league.
Oh, it is going to be interesting. We got to watch all three of these teams now just because of how close it is, which is really exciting because usually it's a at max 2-team race, but now with 10 games to go, we've got 3 teams that are bucking for pole position here. So it's going to be really interesting to watch. And Brighton is a very good team. They've proven it before. Like, they can get results. They can have a good attack. They can really cause problems for teams. They've been a little bit more inconsistent than I was hoping they would be. I was hoping they'd be just a tad bit more consistent, a tad bit more dangerous all the time. But they're still a team that can definitely cause problems, and it's something that Liverpool needs to be aware of. Having said that, Liverpool will win this game. I don't think it'll even be a draw. I think they will win this game, and they'll do so comfortably. I think they know what's at stake. And again, they're playing for Klopp. They're playing for something bigger than themselves. They really are. So I don't think this game will be a problem for them. I am hoping Brighton can do a little bit. I'm not seeing it. The win probability for Liverpool is like 70+%. I think that's more than accurate. I think they'll win this game.
I do too, especially at home at Anfield. But for Brighton, if you can get any sort of points, that's a step in the right direction because it's looking potentially like that 7th place team in the Premier League will have a European spot next year, and they're only with a match in hand over West Ham. They're 2 points back. So they're still looking at a possibility of a Conference League, maybe even a Europa League, depending on what happens ahead of them. So they still have a lot to play for.
Yeah,
but I'm with you. Liverpool is just so much better in every aspect of it. So much more motivated with Klopp, and after losing that FA Cup match last time out, they're ready to come in,
and they're at home.
Yeah. So I think it's comfortable. I'm going to probably go 3-1 to Liverpool. I'm
going 2-0, but
Also, didn't even give my prediction for the first one. I think Man City wins 2-0.
I like that. I was going to go 3-0, but 2-0. We'll go 2-0, a little closer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But any other matches from this weekend slate of games that you want to go in depth on, or just kind of preview them up?
I mean, those were definitely the big ones. I don't think we really have to go too into depth with anything else because there isn't a whole lot, bar maybe the Newcastle West Ham game, that seems like it has that same level of competition that these two games will have, and same level of significance.
Yeah. It'll be a tight one there. Bournemouth Everton, potentially a tight one, but we'll just hop into our predictions and previews for the rest of this weekend's matches. Starting out with that one, you said Newcastle West Ham, the early game on Saturday. Who gets it done and why?
I am going to go Newcastle. Why? I don't know. I actually couldn't figure this game out. I really couldn't figure this game out. And the problem with this game is that it's Newcastle playing.
Yep.
And you don't know what Newcastle is going to show up. They're the hardest team to predict this year. Because sometimes you're like, oh, they look so good. They got this done. And they will go and lose to like Luton Town. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, well, now they're just going to get killed by this team. This team's in Champions League position. And they'll go and beat them, or at least play super well against them. It's so hard to predict with this team. So I really don't know. Because of that, I will go Newcastle. They're at home. And with their unpredictability, I like them to win this game.
Yeah.
For that reason alone, I will go Newcastle 2-1.
Oh, I like that reasoning. I think Newcastle at home is a safer bet. I do think, though, that West Ham might be able to sneak out of there with a point. I think Jared Bowen's been playing the form of his life, as we keep saying, and it's just one of those things that I can see this being a toss-up, but I'm going to lean towards West Ham if anyone's going to get a win. I'm going to go 2-1, but I also could very well see this be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, it could very well be. It's one of those games, man. I think it'll be like close.
Yeah.
I just don't know who's going to win, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it just depends on what Newcastle team shows up as all season, because sometimes they really, really look like a top 4 team. Other times they look like they should almost be in the relegation battle.
Yep.
Meanwhile, a team that is in the relegation battle, Everton, they travel down south to go play Bournemouth. Does Everton put themselves, I think with 3 points, they put themselves out of the relegation battle personally.
They would put themselves on 28 points, which could be 7 points ahead of the relegation zone, which at this point might be enough with only about, 9 games to go, 8 for some of these teams. So, yeah, keep in mind, Everton's got a game in hand over a lot of these other teams as well. So,
yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, they would, but I don't think they're going to win. I'm going Bournemouth personally at home. I like them here. I'm going to go 2-1 to Bournemouth. If Everton does get a win, I do agree with you, though. They distance themselves from the relegation zone. They're not completely out of it.
Yeah.
But they are very, very close to being safe.
Usually we give that 30-point marker is that safety.
And they will hit them just about there if they win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Forest getting the point deduction, it makes everything a little spicier at the bottom.
Yeah, which was so interesting.
Down there. Yeah, I'm taking Bournemouth as well. I think they do win 1-0. I think a little too much momentum for Everton to try and fight over.
Yeah,
Chelsea, Burnley. We've continuously talked how Burnley is absolutely terrible. Do they get anything against Chelsea in London?
Not at all. Give me
Score.
Chelsea. 3-0.
Yep. I was going to go 2-0. So pretty straightforward there. Forest, the team we just mentioned, that is now in the relegation zone after their 4-point deduction. They're taking on Crystal Palace. And this is a Palace team that we've been very wary about at times.
Yeah.
They've started to get a little better, slowly starting to kind of get out of that relegation battle, but it's still a team that has their only Premier League win since the beginning of February was against Burnley.
Yeah.
That concerns me.
Yeah, it does. And honestly, I don't think they're going to get another one here. In fact, I don't even think they're going to get a point.
No, I don't know.
I'm going Forest. At home, they need these points direly now. Like, they're in fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Like, their season just changed up. Luton Town, man, what a year they're having. Everton drops below them, then drops back ahead of them, and then Nottingham Forest drops behind them. Not because of on-field play, but because of financial problems.
Yep.
Isn't that interesting? Because of violations. Luton Town is just seeing all this stuff going on around them. But I do think because of that, Forest is going to be in desperation mode, and they will come out on top at home. I think it's going to be a terrible game. Yeah. I think they win 1-0.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be a very uneventful game. And I'm with you. I think Forest will find a way to get it done. I do like them at home, but they also have been so bad as of late that it's. I was saying Crystal Palace has won twice since the new year. Sheffield United and Burnley,
which is like charity win. Like, no offense if anyone is a fan of those two teams, which I realistically you're not, but
if you do support one of those teams, then you're probably a legit fan and hate yourself at times for it. But
yeah, exactly. But those are charity wins in this season. Yeah,
this season it's everyone should beat them. But even like looking at Forest, their only win that wasn't against a championship level team was against West Ham, but that was at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not entirely convinced. I think it is fight or flight. I think this is going to be an absolute bloodbath in terms of it's not going to be entertaining at all. It's going to just be you're going to want to gouge your eyes out. But I'll lean Forest, but I'm not convinced by it.
I agree. Again, you don't know, but I just don't think this Palace. This Palace team, I feel like should be closer to the relegation zone than they are.
Agreed.
You know, like it's shocking to me that they're up as high as they are when a team like Everton's as low as they are.
Yep.
That's just my take.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I think Palace is on. I think Palace should be at least 2 spots lower potentially.
Yeah.
I think they aren't as good. And if the Forest would be at 25 points, so they'd be 2 spots back of them had the penalty not hit. So
yeah,
give me Forest in a dirty one. Give me Fulham over Sheffield United.
Easy. Don't even have to talk.
Anything else? And nothing else said. Same with the next one. Tottenham over Luton at home for Tottenham.
Agreed.
Aston Villa and Wolves. This one's interesting because Wolves is similar to Brighton. They're only 3 points behind West Ham for that 7th spot, whereas Aston Villa are trying to fend off Tottenham for a Champions League place. They do have played one more match than Tottenham as well, which that's a little scary if you're a Villa fan.
It is, but I do think they'll get this win. They're going to be at home, which I think will be the ultimate factor in their favor. If this was at Wolves, I would be thinking Wolves. I really would. Maybe I'm giving the home field advantage too much credit, but I do think that plays a part, especially when it's Villa Park. So,
it does.
Yeah, no, I think they'll win. I think it'll be 2-1. I think it'll be a really good game.
Yeah, and time again, we've talked about how good this Villa team has been at home. I think this is another one where they can get it done. I don't know if it'll be a massive difference in goals, but I think Villa will ultimately get the result they need.
Oh, yeah.
Brentford, Man City, or Man U, and I guess I'll touch on Villa again in a little bit because they have a big one midweek, and that's my only concern is they might be looking ahead to that match with Man City and over. But we'll touch on that one briefly in a bit. Last one of the slate for this weekend because we talked about both games on Sunday. Brentford, Man U. Give me an Ivan Toney masterclass.
See, this one I'm finding tough as well, like who I want, because I want to say Man U, but God, at Brentford, you know what? We're going Brentford.
Hey, that's what it is.
It is Brentford.
The Brentford side that hasn't won since February 10th.
It just feels like it's coming at all times, you know?
I mean, look, these are their results. 2-1 loss to Burnley, 2-1 loss at Arsenal, 2-2 draw at Chelsea when Chelsea scored in the 83rd minute. Arsenal scored in the 86th. Burnley scored late. 1-0 loss to Man City with a 71st minute goal. 4-1 loss to Liverpool, but that's not surprising. 3-2 loss to Tottenham. They're losing close games. They're not being out dominated.
They're right there.
It's just the ball. It's one of those things where the ball goes the other way. It's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the one because I always love picking against Man U as well. I think they're riding a little too high, focusing on the FA Cup more than they probably will be on the league. Mm-hmm. So give me Brentford. Give me Ivan Toney scoring the winner. Going 2-1 to the Bees.
Let's go.
Now for the upcoming midweek stuff. Some exciting matches. West Ham Tottenham won. I'm not going to dive too much into that one, I don't think, but we can. That's what I had on my list, actually. West Ham Tottenham, because They are very close to each other in the table.
Yeah, we could.
Who do you think gets that one? Because, I mean, Tottenham wins on Saturday. They're suddenly tied with Villa on points.
Yeah.
Would have the same, if not a better, goal difference. So we can see Tottenham with 2 wins this week jump into a Champions League spot, because I don't think, as we'll get into in a bit, I don't think Villa gets it done against Man City.
I don't either. I do think Tottenham will win because of that. I still rate this Tottenham team. I really do.
Oh,
they had they were a rough bit of form, but they had players, like key players, injured. Now that everyone's back, they look solid again. I think they'll get this done. I think they realize what's at stake here. Champions League is on the line, and I think they'll get it done. I'm going 1-0 Tottenham.
All right. I'm thinking they get a couple more goals, because when they've been scoring in numbers. 4-0 over Villa, 3-1 over Palace, 2-1 over Brighton recently. So I'm going to go 2-0. I think West Ham has a chance at scoring, but I think the Spurs defense will come up clutch. The big one midweek, Man City, Aston Villa. I like Man City, but it's all going to be of what kind of team are they going to have out there. And I think a lot of it depends on the result against Arsenal, of what team you put out.
It'll be interesting, because I wonder if they'll have – I don't think they will, but they beat Arsenal, right? Do they have a little bit of a hangover heading into this game? Like,
Eventually.
Oh, look at this. We just beat them. We should be fine now. They're better than this team. We're better than this team. But that's a dangerous attitude to have against Villa. Will they have it? Who knows? Realistically, probably not. But
go ahead.
No, I mean, that's just all I'm going to say. Like, I still think City's going to win this game. They're going to be at home. I don't think Villa's going to have a reasonable shot. Now, Villa played City off the park as well last time they played. So I think there will be a revenge factor as well. So maybe you don't even need maybe there really won't even be a hangover, because all these City players are going to be like, we didn't just lose to them. We got run off the field by them. So let's go out there and do the same to them. So that could be its own motivating factor that plays a huge part here. And I do think they will win. I'm going like 3-1 to City. I think they win comfortably. But it's going to be interesting to see. And I think it all really does, like you said, hinge on what happens with the Arsenal game. If they draw that game, do you suddenly put every single player that you could, like the best players, out? If you win that game, do you maybe rest a few players because you think you'll be fine without them? It'll be interesting to see how it's handled.
It will be. And this is 2 revenge games in a row for Man City, because they lost to Arsenal earlier in the season, lost to Villa earlier in the season. I think they have to play a full squad. It's 3 days after, so you get 2 days off in between the Arsenal match and the Villa match, but you need 3 points here. Because Arsenal plays Luton, Liverpool plays Sheffield United. You're assuming both those teams get 3 points.
Yeah.
No matter what happens in the result at the weekend, this is a must-win for Man City to stay in that title race.
Yep.
And I do think they get it done. I think they've proven time and time again, second half of the season, they're so much better than everybody else.
They're invincible. Like, they create a bar. So
it's one of those that I think they win comfortably. I think they win 3-1.
Yep.
So going that way, I can see Haaland having himself a weekend and week, but it's going to be a lot of it stems off of that. And it's like, that's why with the Wolves Aston Villa match of the weekend, I don't know what quite to expect from Villa, because maybe they look ahead to Man City and they're in an iffy position as well. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle things.
Yeah,
because Arsenal just has to worry about this. No offense to Luton Town, but they just have to worry about this game. City has to worry about 2. Villa realistically has to worry about 2, because Wolves is a very dangerous team. So it's going to be interesting to see how those 2 teams really handle this. And I think the matchup between the 2 of them at the midweek is going to be really interesting to see. And it's going to hinge a lot, like you said, on what happens at the weekend.
Oh, yes, I agree 100% with you. Weekend is much better than the midweek matches, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So the only other one I have written down, only because it's a bit of a rivalry, Chelsea Man U. I think this could be dire.
It could be. I like Chelsea to win and score a few goals, though.
Okay.
I really do. Their offense has shown some promising signs recently, I think. even Nicholas Jackson, for as bad as I think he is, he has shown more promising signs now than he has previously. I do think Chelsea will win this game by a couple goals again. I'm going 3-1. I do feel good about them in this, and just for that, they will lose, and they will be embarrassed in doing it just because I said it. But I'm still sticking with it. I like the positive steps that Poch is taking with this team. I think they need to continue to be patient and realize that this is a rebuilding job. This isn't a go and immediately qualify for Champions League. But I do think there are some promising signs, and I think that'll carry over in this game. I do. And again, could be completely wrong here. Could be completely off base. But that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, I'm seeing this one as a draw solely because have a guess at the last time Chelsea beat Man U in the Premier League.
3 years ago?
2017.
Oh my God.
Was the last time Chelsea actually beat Man U in the Premier League. Beat them in the FA Cup in 2020. But since then, it's been a boatload of draws. There's a point where it was, 6 straight draws, I think. And some of those games were some of the worst I've ever seen.
A lot of them have been draws.
I can see, and that's where I'm leaning. I'm leaning this one towards a draw, but
you're going with a safe bet. Come on.
I mean,
you're going with a statistically proven bet.
Well, you'll see why. I always like picking against Man U, but in this one, I think if anyone's to win it, it will be the Reds. So it's one of those that I'm thinking on my bet side of things, I'm taking this as a draw because I think it'll be a very, very, very uneventful and boring game.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm leaning that way, kind of hoping it's a draw or hoping both teams can lose.
Yeah, that would be great, right?
It'd be crazy, but sports, I don't think you can do that.
No, unfortunately.
But let's have a quick look at the other matches of this midweek action. It goes from Tuesday through Thursday. So we'll have a quick turnaround for you guys next week for our episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But Newcastle-Everton, I'm leaning the Gordies. So leaning Newcastle, but not. I'll go Newcastle 2-0.
Yeah, I'm leaning them as well. Again, maybe here's the problem though. They're like a good one game, bad the other game kind of team. So since I picked them in the other game, I guess I have to pick Everton in this one, right? I will go. Actually, I'm going draw. I'm going 2-2 draw here. Okay. But I do think if anyone's likely to win, it is Newcastle. But just because of how inconsistent they are, I'm going 2-2 draw.
I like that. Yeah, I'm taking Newcastle with a 2-0, 2-1 win. So, Forest are hosting Fulham. I'm going to back Fulham in this one. I think Forest will get a result potentially against Crystal Palace. I think they'll put their money or their eggs in that basket. Fulham will get it done.
I agree. I think they'll use everything up in that other game. They will win that other game. We both called that. But yeah, I think Fulham's a better team. Forest will be so focused on the other game, like you said, that Fulham is able to take full advantage and get the win.
And Fulham also comes in after having played Sheffield United at the weekend, so I'm assuming that'll be relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, mid-table mediocrity at its finest.
Yeah, but give me Bournemouth. Okay. Again, I don't rate Palace. I think I pick against them every single time they're on. I really do. I think I could go back and look in the vast majority of times.
I'm curious what our prediction records are. Should have kept track of that. We'll do that for possibly next season.
Yeah, next year we need to keep track, like keep a running table, see. But yeah, this game give me Bournemouth. I don't.
Oh, I'm going the opposite. I'm taking Palace. I think they'll find a way to get a result somehow, some way. So I'm backing the Eagles to get a 1-0 with an own goal. That's the kind of match this seems like to me.
It's got that potential, yeah.
So I'm leaning that way. I think Wolves do get the better of Burnley. I think every time I'm kind of just picking against Burnley and Sheffield United. I want to be proven wrong at some point. It's just so easy to pick against them.
It's a safe bet. They've been so bad that you got to pick against whoever or pick whoever's playing them over them.
Yeah. They have a combined 7 wins in 57 matches.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
No.
So yeah, give me them. Give me Wolves. We touched on those West Ham, Tottenham ones. Kind of touched briefly on Arsenal Luton. Do you think Luton has anything to make it as interesting as the reverse fixture? Because that was a hell of a match.
I don't. I was trying to think, like, maybe, and there is, like, Luton does show up against good teams. I don't know what it is, but they do score goals against good teams. I do think Arsenal will take this one. Now, predicting the score, I have no idea because, again, it could either be a rout for Arsenal or maybe Luton gets some goals. But I do think Arsenal wins no matter what.
Oh, I agree. Bless you. Yeah. I think Arsenal wins comfortably.
Yeah, on that route.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's another. Their last match, they won close one, but it's been the 6-0s against bottom feeders, the 4-1s, the 5-0s, the 6-0s against teams that I think they kind of keep it going.
Yeah,
and it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be one of those ones that I think they lose to Man City at the weekend. I think you said that as well, where this is going to be a bounce back one, and they're going to have to take out that anger and energy, and they'll put it into this.
Yeah, I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping that my possible Luton scoring multiple goals.
Oh, I could see it happening because Luton's, as you said, a dangerous team at times. But for some reason, I think this one has Arsenal 3-0 written all over it.
Yeah. Here's to hoping. All right.
Brentford, Brighton.
Brighton.
Okay.
Going Brighton hard. I give Brentford too much credit. I feel like.
Yeah.
About every week.
Well, we both picked him to win at the weekend, so they're probably going to get thrashed midweek.
Yeah. So give me Brighton in this one. We can't pick Brentford in 2 games when they can't win a single game anyway. So give me Brighton.
That's a bold strategy when they haven't won one in God knows how long.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's where the money is. Don't do it, but maybe a bet on Brentford to win twice this week. No.
Big money right there.
Never going to happen. I'm taking Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton.
Then Liverpool, Sheffield United, the only other one we haven't touched on. I think this could also be. Whereas Arsenal, I think, might slip up a bit, and maybe Luton can get a goal.
Yeah.
I think this one's 5-6-0.
Yeah, I agree. This shouldn't even be a game. It won't be a game. It's going to be multiple goals at Liverpool score. Excuse me. So, yeah.
Well, we'll say, though, the only time Liverpool has scored more than 2 goals against Sheffield United, or the last time it happened, 2007.
Wow.
So Sheffield United's held them to at most 2 goals. Usually it's 2 goals. Since then, they haven't played very often because Sheffield United's been in the Championship, League One, and all that. But
yeah.
Any other stuff you want to discuss on terms of this weekend, this upcoming week's matches?
I don't have anything on the matches per se, but if you want to talk about a certain Italian who's got serious need for rehab, then let's hop right into it.
Yeah, we were talking about how Ivan Toney has been great. Sandro Tonali was found guilty today, I believe, or he was charged today.
No charge
for
today.
Breaching an FA rule of sports gambling 50 times at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was between matches this season when he was already suspended.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a problem. His agent even admitted it. He's like, he's got a gambling addiction. Yeah, no shit. Get him in. Get this. Like, he's got to get this figured out because when you're a player, man, like, you can't be addicted to gambling and betting on your own team. You can't. Like, there's a certain element. The beautiful thing about sports is that it's supposed to be fair. And that means that the players, the managers, people involved with the game can't be betting on their own games. I don't think they should be betting in general. I still stand by that. But you definitely can't be betting on your own games.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like, he's an adrenaline junkie. That's probably what it ultimately comes down to. He just gets a rush from the gambling and the trying not to get caught and knowing that he's doing it wrong. So he's an adrenaline junkie.
Yep.
Hopefully he finds a better way to channel that energy. Maybe take the fucker skydiving. I don't know. Get him to do something else. But like this.
terrible.
Yeah, and again, we're acting like he's out here like committing like serious crimes. Like it's not like he's out here murdering someone, but it's still like it ruins the integrity. Not that we know of mafia, but Sopranos, baby. But it ruins the integrity of the game, and that's ultimately why people watch. Like if people don't feel like there's integrity in the game, they're not going to watch, because why would you watch something where it could be lopsided? People could be working to reach a certain end and not making it fair. What's the point of watching that? It's basically the WWE. I don't know.
If sports is the last pure thing to watch. I'm sure there's like reality TV shows, but you already know
it's scripted.
It's all rigged and stuff. It's all scripted.
Yeah.
Sports is technically the last thing that's unscripted on TV.
Yeah.
Never know what you're going to see. And if that gets in question, I know myself, I would probably watch less and less if I knew that the result was already fixed. Be like, oh, I'll just see what happens. I'll watch the score box after. I know this ref is going to do this, this, and this. And that's why I've kind of left out the NFL, because I think that is such big money. It's a little more scripted at times. But
there's an element.
NBA is the script as well. It's so easy, the ticky-tacky fouls and all that.
It's not like scripted, but they try to reach a certain end if they can, I feel like.
If it was scripted, this banner wouldn't be up behind me.
That's true. They would not have let a dude like Jokic carry the league on his shoulders. But
right. But he did.
Robbie Avila's coming up, dude. That's a reincarnation.
Oh, no. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Did they win the other day? Is that?
Yeah.
The
finals of the NIT.
Let's go. They should have been in March Madness. I'm gonna just put that out
over
there.
Virginia, 100%. Everyone should have been in over Virginia, but
5 of us from Vendetta should have been in over Virginia.
Yeah, no, straight up. We were talking about that when it first came out. I'm like, dude, this is friggin' crazy.
Bizarre. But I just think it's crazy in terms of this Tonali stuff and all the betting that they advertise. English TV, watching a game, you'll get 15 ads at halftime for different betting companies. The shirt sponsors on half the teams are betting companies. They have betting everywhere. Yet when you're a player, you even think about it, you're screwed. And he already has a 10-month ban. I don't know what they're going to do now. I don't know if they ban him for another year or what it is, but I just hope they do get him some help, because it sounds like he needs it.
Oh, he definitely does. And you just brought up a very interesting point about the hypocrisy that exists, where you promote this because it's making you this much money, but you don't let anyone else be involved in it. You don't let them be involved in it. You don't let this happen. I personally think everyone should be away from it. It shouldn't be. Now, I'm someone who doesn't need to bet to enjoy a sporting event. Like, I don't enjoy sports betting. I really don't. I'd rather just watch it. That's me personally. I know I'm in the minority. I know most people love sports betting.
See, I'm on the side with you. Like, I don't need to, or I don't have to bet to watch games. Even like baseball started, so I don't need to bet to watch and enjoy baseball.
Yeah.
That, and like you said with Tonali, it's that adrenaline of, oh, March Madness. I'm going to bet on this underdog. And when this game is close, I'm like, oh, maybe get a couple bucks here and there. But it's like some people, it's just how advertised it is for them not to have it for players. Like we've seen that 3 times this week. There's the Tonali stuff, the Shohei Ohtani betting stuff with his
stuff's crazy.
Which that's crazy.
Yeah.
Then Michael Porter Jr.'s brother in the NBA on the Toronto Raptors. He's now in trouble for potentially having inside bet on himself during a game. And
yeah,
it's crazy how much this is getting around. And it's a little concerning because, the people who are making the decisions are like, holy crap, we can make so much money from people sports betting that why not allow it? Wow. If it does come out that, and I don't think he did, he doesn't seem like the kind of player that would, but Ohtani's betting on baseball, you have to ban him. Kick him out of baseball, which then the sport dies with it even quicker than it already has been.
Yeah, but you'd have to.
And yeah. I mean, you either have to do that or allow Pete Rose back into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the funniest comments. I don't know if you saw that or followed that whole story much, but Pete Rose came out on Instagram or Twitter with a video and said, damn, I wish I had an interpreter. I'd be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah.
One of those things, sports betting is not great. Fun at times, but you got to know how to do it in minor detail and
Yeah.
do it on occasion. It's a good thing to do on occasion, I would say, but
I agree.
not if you're an athlete. It's one of those things. Who knows? What do you think happens to him? Do you think he gets banned? This is the last thing to touch on.
I think it's extended a little bit. I don't think it's a full-time deal. Maybe in a year, full year, but he'll be back at some point.
Yeah. And I hope so too, because that Newcastle team with him was looking very, very good.
So good. And without him, they're not the same team. So
there we go. Jackson, any final touches or final words on this Thursday afternoon episode?
Is that on my end?
I've got nothing either. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of our Vendetta Sports Media YouTube stuff. Check out the website, vendettasportsmedia.com as well. See you guys next week. Thanks for watching.